tanking and rebuilding, a very common process in today's league that we've seen some have quickly mastered or perfected, while others still struggle to get out of a rebuild. As we've seen so far from the Houston Rockets this season, we have seen a drastic change in some of their young core from last season to this year. Last year, they finished 11th in the Western Conference, just behind the Golden State Warriors, despite going on a run later in the season to close that gap. The reason this team is so good is not because they're being led by just one superstar player, rather they're playing as a team and as a unit and getting everyone involved in the offense. For example, they have 7 guys scoring 11 points a game or more, and not a single guy averaging over 20. This means that they don't have a signature one scoring option that has to take a lot of shots for them to be successful. This is a great thing for a young team like this, as it can also push someone to emerge as a star in a situation where they may need it. But for a team that didn't do a lot in free agency and may have just picked up Reed Shepherd in the draft, how are they performing so much differently? Are they using their guys in different roles? Are they maximizing their potential? Hello everyone, I'm Mason, and let's talk about the high-powered Houston Rockets. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel because we are close to 1,000 subscribers and I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you. As for the Rockets, this season, they have looked tremendously different, especially on the defensive side of the ball. It's amazing seeing a team without any incredibly efficient scorers other than Amen Thompson, who is shooting almost 58% from the field. They have just a lot of guys that are willing to play super fast pace and run the floor, outrunning some of these veteran older teams that they may play against. They have a lot of very athletic guards and wings, such as Jalen Green, Amen Thompson, Tari Eason, and Cam Whitmore. The reason this is so important as a part of their team is offensively, they are not a great three-point shooting team, but the reason they are able to score a lot also is because they play such a fast, high-powered brand of basketball. They're able to get out and run the floor and get open transition dunks and layups for their guys. They play very well off of turnovers. Now, the reason their defense is so smothering is these athletic guys are so good at causing havoc on that side of the ball. Amen Thompson and Tari Eason specifically are such a dynamic defensive duo. Amen Thompson, being one of the premier defenders in today's NBA, so athletic, uses his length, wingspan, height, speed, and athleticism to get out in transition off of a steal, get an open dunk, and also contest shots like no other. It's so weird seeing a team that has arguably their best defender coming off the bench. That may be in part due to his liability shooting on the offensive side of the ball, as his outside shot is not very good just yet. I hope he's able to polish that side of his game though, because that'll open up even more danger for anyone playing against this Rockets team. This team forces 16 turnovers a game, and that is a huge reason as to why they are so dominant defensively. Part of why they're succeeding so much as well, the younger guys being able to step up offensively in a sense that Fred VanVleet does not have to shoot as much as before. Fred VanVleet, as we've seen in previous seasons, and especially this last season with the Rockets, he has been a guy that sometimes will just shoot way too many threes and it'll hurt the team. However, this season, Jalen Green is actually attempting more threes a game than Fred VanVleet, which is good to see because Fred doesn't have to go out there and be one of the only people taking high three-point volume. Alperen Sengun playing amazing so far this season. Also on the defensive side of the ball, everyone on the team buys into the defensive side of the ball, and as we've seen, some teams are more offensive minded than defense. However, this team is not one of them. We've all seen when the Rockets play, they are a heavily defensive minded team. Dillon Brooks being also another guy that is very defensively driven, as he loves to be disruptive on that side of the ball and just be plain annoying. I'm actually kind of shocked at how well this Rockets team has turned out on that side of the ball, because the smothering defense is one of the things that honestly was not super predictable with this team. Obviously, we saw guys like Amen Thompson and Tari Eason knowing that these guys had the tools to be good defensive players. However, when you see guys on the court like Jalen Green and Fred VanVleet who are not as good defensively, it kind of makes you worry about that. However, this team has been one of the top defenses in basketball. According to Cleaning the Glass, they have the second best defense in the league, allowing only 105 points per 100 possessions, which which for this Houston team, they have not had a defense ranked that high since the 07-08 season. Another thing is I love seeing Thompson and Tari Eason being so aggressive on the defensive side of the ball to contest and block as many shots as possible and also steal them. For example, Tari Eason being in the 98th percentile of blocked shot percentage and the 100th percentile of steal percentage, meaning that per possession he steals the ball more than anyone else in the entire NBA. Mind-numbing right there. Every single Rockets game that I watched, when I look back at my notes for the season, and I have written down that they out-hustled and outran the other team down the court. Offensive rebounding, backdoor cuts, elite defense, things like this are in every single game, because when this Rockets team is playing their best basketball, just the pure hustle of this team is insane to deal with. Not a lot of teams are equipped to guard so many athletic guards and wings. Even with Jalen Green not being very efficient this season, if he were to be a slightly more efficient player and get Reed Shepherd some more minutes and more three-point volume, I think this team could be very scary on the offensive side as well, in an area where they are not very great shooting from three. For an example, on November 2nd, the Rockets played the Warriors and went down by 30 points and ended up still sending the game to overtime. A lot of this comeback was mounted by Tari Eason smothering on that defensive side of the floor, and Thompson also being very good against the Warriors small ball lineup when Sengun was off the floor as well and they played small ball. Not a lot of guys can guard so many wings at once, as I said before. It was in this game that we saw Houston's amazing ability to force a lot of turnovers and get out in transition. However, the Warriors would not turn the ball over a lot early on, but due to Houston's fast-paced offense, they were able to score a lot of points and cut the lead down and send it to overtime. When they played against a team like the Clippers, who has Norman Powell and James Harden, who are very elite outside scorers, the Rockets' perimeter defense was the reason they were able to shut them down and win this game in dominant fashion. They're such a deep team, arguably the deepest team in the NBA, because of having so many guys even off the bench who may not be the best at scoring, but you know they're going to go out there and get a stop. The only real weakness of this team is probably rim protection, as I do believe that Sengun has room to improve at that aspect of his game. It's truly not affecting them a lot this year, as they are so good on that side of the ball. Now, a lot of people may be wondering if this success of the Rockets, is it sustainable? I honestly believe yes, that it is. The reason I say this, you have a lot of guys that are scoring, as I mentioned before, 7 guys averaging 11 or more points a game. These are not high clips for them to maintain. And not just that, when you have a lot of guys shooting inefficiently, such as Fred VanVleet and Jalen Green, both shooting under 40% from the field as of recording, it just gives them more room to go up. So if they both bump their percentages up by a couple points, they may be able to even be better than they are right now. As it currently stands, they are second in the Western Conference with a record of 14-6. Now, a guy that I have completely not mentioned yet in this video is Jabari Smith Jr. The reason he has been so good is not because of his offensive production, it's his defensive versatility as well. Due to his 6'11", 220 frame, he's able to guard a lot of positions on the floor. He has not been the best offensively, but he has had a few games where he was on absolute heaters, and especially from three. I would love to see more scoring output from Jabari Smith Jr. as well. It's just another one of those situations where if you can get him up, as of right now, he is averaging 12 points a game. If he could get up and average 15, 16, as he is able to kill you from anywhere on the floor. Now, I know that Jabari Smith Jr. loves to shoot a lot of three-pointers, but if he is able to get more of those mid-range and looks at the rim, he's currently shooting 75% at the rim on the season, which is absolutely ridiculous. Now, aside from three-point shooting, the offense of this team is very good, especially when it it comes to attacking the basket. They are a team that is currently top 10 in points in the paint and third in fast break points per game. This shows of their ability to get downhill fast and get to the rim. For Houston Rockets fans, I'm curious to know your thoughts in the comments below of what you think will happen for the team going forward. I think if you continue to have this team buy into this culture as well and just improve on those weaknesses such as three-point shooting, this team has a lot of upside. They did a great job of rebuilding and better than I honestly expected. Now, as for Alperen Sengun, the only thing I'm a little bit disappointed in him is his scoring volume, because if you compare this year to last year already, his percentages have dropped in almost every category except for free throw percentage. His points per game has dropped a little by 2 as well, which I do imagine by the end of the year he'll probably be back up to where he was. I was just looking for even more of a scoring increase from him and a little more dominance in the offensive side of the ball, and especially paint dominance as well. But he has done a great job of playmaking, and I do think playmaking wise he has gotten even better as well of finding the open guys, playing that Sabonis playmaker kind of role. I really like what I see from this Rockets team. I love the sets they run. I love seeing the high pick and rolls with Sengun. Once you get him in the high post, you have so many backdoor cutters. Again, Amen Thompson, Tari Eason, guys like that are very athletic. You can feed them on those backdoor cuts, and not a lot of people can keep up with them, and not a lot of people can hang with them once they get airborne, especially Jalen Green when it comes to that sense. Super athletic as well. So thank you to the Houston Rockets for all the entertainment you've provided us this season already, 20 games in. I'm so excited going forward to continue watching more of their games, and I just hope that they can continue the success that they're having. Now, as I said before, I do vouch for Reed Shepherd to get a little bit more minutes. He is one of the best three-point shooters on this team already, and I think once you get him some more volume, he will be even more comfortable out there on the floor. I love the fact that they are the best defense in the league other than Oklahoma City, and I think that this is definitely maintainable for this team. They are such a hard team to compete with because you have so many options. Any guy can go out there and give you 20 on this Rockets team. 20, 25 points is so easy for one of these guys to get in a game. That's my favorite part. They don't have a signature scoring option. They have so many guys they can pick from. They are so hard to game plan for because of that as well. You have no idea who's going to go out there and have a good night. You don't know whether Sengun's going to be dominant in the paint. You don't know if VanVleet's going to make 6 threes. You don't know if Amen Thompson is going to cause so much havoc on defense that he gets 6 fast break transition buckets. That is why they're so hard to mess with. Overall, the Houston Rockets have been such a dominant team up to this point in the season. They have so many guys who are very versatile on the defensive side of the ball. Because they have so much defensive versatility, they're able to switch on a lot of actions on defense and not be punished by it. What do you think of the Houston Rockets? Let me know down in the comments below. Overall, I think that this is a very maintainable position for the Rockets to maintain possibly top 4 or 5 in the Western Conference by the end of the season, just because of how incredibly versatile their entire lineup is and the high pace they love to play at. Thank you all for watching today's video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel as we're close to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for all the support on the channel recently, though. I really do appreciate it. Just going forward, I really hope I'm still able to continue making content. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you then, cuh.